Hello and welcome to UML Operator. Today we're going to talk about Sparx Versioning with SVN or Subversion. And I'm going to go through setting up a versioning repository, a working copy in SVN, and then integrating Sparx with that repository. So let's get started. First, let's make some assumptions. Number one, you have SVN deployed within your company or your development shop. Number two, and this is optional, that you have TortoiseSVN deployed in your shop and or company. TortoiseSVN is a client that you can deploy on your desktops that your modelers, your stakeholders can use to access the SVN server. And then number three is that you're familiar with versioning controls, that you have conventions in place. More importantly, you have discipline in place. So we are in Visual SVN Server, this client right here, and we're going to create a package. So we're going to right click on here, create new repository, just a regular repository. We're going to try to keep this demonstration simple. We are going to call our repository model patterns. And then we're going to hit next. And then we're going to create an empty repository. You could create a single project repository that gives you extra packaging. But for this demonstration, let's just do an empty repository. And then all Subversion users have read-write access. Probably don't want to do this. You want your model admin, your sysadmin to create user base here, but we're going to go and keep this simple and just go all have read-write. Then what we're going to do is allow search indexing with a repository, which is default. Let's go ahead and create a repository. And then let's finish. And there we go. We have a new SVN repository created for model patterns. Now we're going to go over to the file share where our repository is. This is on my local machine, so this is pretty simple. And we are going to create a new package here called, this is called a working set. And we're going to create a new folder called model patterns. In SVN server, we're going to right click on our new package, new repository. We're going to copy the URL. Then we're going to go to our versioning path, the network file share. This is local on my machine. I'm going to right click on this, and because I have SVN installed, I get all of these options. I'm going to select SVN checkout, and then I need to paste the URL that SVN has given us in here. This is our working path right here. This is checkout directory working path. We're going to leave fully recursive and all the other defaults checked, and we're going to hit OK. Everything was successful. There are no versions in there. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. And you can see now that model patterns is checked out. Now let's go to Sparx, and on the settings tab in the version control panel, we're going to select project version control, VC. We select this. We're creating a new repository, so new. And it's going to be Subversion, and we're going to give it a unique name, and we're going with the same name, model patterns. Call it anything you want, but we're going to call it model patterns. We want to be consistent with what we're referring to in this configuration for Sparx to SVN. Next, we're going to put in our working copy path, which is our folder for version control or model patterns. And this is where the svn.exe is installed on the machine, and your desktop administrator can distribute this to authorized modelers, stakeholders, and developers. And we have everything set. We're going to leave the timeout value set to the default of 30 seconds. That's fine. And we're going to hit save. And it created a unique ID for model patterns. And we're going to go ahead and hit close. We're in our project here where we're managing and creating and developing model patterns. And we want to put this package right here under version control. So again, in the settings tab, version control panel, now we want to put this package under version control. So we're going to select this. We get this dialog, control package. And then we hit the drop down and we have a couple to choose from. We just created one for model patterns. Then we see the type change to XMI 1.1. We're not worried about that. And we're going to leave version ID 01. And then we're going to accept everything else here and we're going to hit OK. And then keep checked out. Let's go ahead and select that. It's going to apply the comment notes to the SVN checkout log. And there we go. You can see the icon on the package here has changed to indicate that this package is currently checked out. And if I right click on it and I go to package control, I have all of these versioning options available to me. I can undo the checkout, I can work on the model, and then I can check it in, and I can do much, much more. Now, I made some small modifications to this very simple model. There's just one element in here. If you could imagine you're working on a block diagram with dozen or dozens of elements in it, it'd be more complex, but let's keep it simple. So small changes here. I want to increase the line width for complex to make it stand out. Let's go ahead and hit save. That one's done. I also changed the versioning. This is going to be version 03 of this pattern. The package is version 03. And that's all I'm going to change right now before I check this in. So now we're going to update the repository. So we're going to right click on this. And then what we're going to do is go to package control right here. And we're going to check this in. So date and time, you could certainly add more notes in here for SVN. And we're going to hit OK. And now this has been checked in. And you can tell because when we look at the package, the icon changed. We got this little key icon here next to the other icon that was created that this package is under version control. And it's just as simple as that. I want you to notice a couple of things that changed once we checked it in. Number one, this is locked. Cannot make any other changes to this particular model under package control. Number two, when we checked it in, a system output window appears in Sparx. Mine's in the lower right, and it tells me that the XMI import completed and in 1.1 seconds. So that fast. Of course, it's local. If you're on a network share, that depends on the latency that you have. Let's go over to another Sparx instance or repository. We have a blank diagram up here for pattern development, and they want to bring this model in. This may be for governance or testing reasons, and they've created a version control setting for model patterns, and we're going to hit close. So it's already been created. Then what we're going to do is just right click anywhere in here, package control and package control. There we go. Stay on it. We are going to get package. So as soon as we do this, we get this dialog box of shared files, and we're going to go to the model pattern working folder. There's one file in there that we just checked in, and we're going to go ahead and get it. Now notice the icon on the package. This is not checked out. It's checked in. It automatically sets it up for package control. We're on it. We can go over to package control, automatically set it up for us. So we're going to just hit cancel on this one, and let's go ahead and bring it up. There it is. And when we look at it, everything, all of the content changes that we made are all there. This should be version 03. This is locked. I can't make any changes until I check it out. So what we're going to do is right click on this. We're going to then go to package control, and we're going to check it out. And there we go. Now we have it checked out over here, and we're going to make a change to the package version 03. They're testing and they're going through this. They're going to look through other content, make any other changes they want. Maybe they don't like the 3 pixel width on complex. Let's go to connectors in this element, go here and take it to 2. Let's hit save, hit OK, and we're all done. Let's go ahead then and right click on this, go to package control, there we go. We're going to check this in. And date and time. Again, put any other comments in here about what changes we made. We could put something in here, minor changes or exactly what we did. Just try not to type War and Peace in your comments on your version control. I'll leave it up to you and your best practices. So now this is checked in. We're back over in our original model development environment, and this, you can see that this is still checked in. We're going to right click on this, then we're going to go to package control, and we're going to get latest. And now it's done. So let's go ahead and look at it. It's not locked. System output tells us how long it took and it was successful. Let's go to package. It is version 03. That change came through. And when we look at this, you can see the pixel on the line was changed back to 2 pixels so that it's consistent with the other lines. The testing or governance team felt that this wasn't necessary, and there we go. I want you to notice this is not checked out. It is checked in. I just got the latest. I looked over it. I'm good with it. Don't need to make any changes. And therefore, this is locked. I can't make any changes until I check it out, and I don't need to do that. I'm good with what testing and governance did on this element, this model, and we're done with versioning between 2 different Sparx instances, and both of them are local on my machine, but they could be across disparate networks, the country, the world. Now I'm in the Visual SVN server interface. Not everyone's going to have access to this here. So what I would do as an administrator is provide the URL link so that they can open it in a web interface. And that basically is going to challenge the user for access. So we're going to put in UML. We're going to put in the password. Hopefully I remembered that. And there's our model right there. I can select it. Here's the XML. I can copy and paste this or bring this into my favorite XML tooling, whether it's XML Spy or something like that. Well, Sparx has some good tooling here when we go to package control for checking in, checking out, doing compares, file history, and other things. It is lacking a lot of client interfaces that you can have available in SVN. So we look at the fact that not everyone has access to SVN server. So what are their options? And that's where TortoiseSVN comes in. So if we go to our repository, because we have TortoiseSVN installed, we can get to a lot more tooling that's available here. Let's go ahead and look at the repo browser. This brings up the Tortoise client that allows us to look in the package that we see here and do all sorts of other things. We can look at the log. I'm not going to do much more on this one. This is why we recommend that you deploy TortoiseSVN on your client machines to give them a lot more access to SVN management capability. So when you're in the particular file, you can right click on this, go to TortoiseSVN, and look at all of these options that you have available through Explorer. Now we're using Microsoft operating system, and all of this integrates extremely well with Microsoft Explorer, just like it does for Git and other things that may be available to you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up now. I hope this episode was helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. We just touched the surface, and I'm not going to get into version control software. I assume your shop is well versed in what you're using, whether it's SVN, TFS, or Git. And today we talked about SVN. I think you can imagine if you were working on a lot of different model packages for projects, for internal pattern development and things like that, how complicated it can get. So model patterns, I have over a dozen model patterns, and I will version them under the model pattern SVN repository if I choose so. I don't usually do model patterns in SVN. There's two different types of XML. There is the XMI, which is the exchange that we would do in SVN. And then there is when we're publishing or creating patterns, and you've learned this in the channel, specialize, and then we can publish the diagram as a pattern. That's a different type of XML. So I would keep them in two different places. Normally my pattern XML is in a network file share using a naming convention that makes it easy to understand, starting with MP for model pattern, what type of pattern it is, and the title of the pattern. And then we use a convention. Numbering convention represents the date the pattern was created. And then versioning is handled internally to Sparx, either through baseline or other things like that. However, if we get in projects where we're creating class elements that have code behind them, that we're working with developers from there, they're working in their IDE and we're working in our model development environment, our MDE, we may want to share round trip the models within the same repository, maybe a doc folder or something like that. So this can get pretty complicated. So today we talked about Visual SVN. We talked about Tortoise as a client. I think it's extremely powerful and necessary for you to keep on your client machines. Other than that, they would be using command line, which not everyone can do if they have access to the SVN server, wherever that is. In today's demo, it was local, so it was pretty easy to get to it. So we want to deploy TortoiseSVN, install and deploy that. Plenty of videos out there to teach you how to install and use. The same thing with SVN or Visual SVN. Plenty of material out there for you to use. If you need me to talk about and show the versioning software, I may do that. That's not what this channel's about. It's about modeling. So that's all we're going to do today. Again, if I get any comments or questions, I will try to respond, and maybe we'll do a video on it. Please let me know. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to version control, a lot of mistakes that people make, such as setting up their working areas where the versioning is taking place and dealing with local versioning and then checking it back in to the primary development version control platform. And there's a lot of other challenges that are there. So if you've got any challenges using Sparx and your version control, in particular SVN, I may do a video on Get SVN. But until then, you know what? Happy modeling.